Okay, so this is the video tutorial for the Mann-Whitney U test. So this test is the one that is the parametric equivalent to uh, the t-test, the paired t-test, right? So we're going to compare two groups, but unlike the t-test where we look at the means of the two groups, here we're going to be looking at the median of the two groups because the dependent variable is ordinal. At least it's not continuous or it's not normally distributed. So we want to look at these two variables. So minority status, that is simply a yes or a no. Are you a minority or not? If we were to look at that in the data view, we would see that it's here. So it's yes or no or 0 or 1. And we want to see how, there is any correlation between minority status or any association or relationship between minority status and um, educational level of education. So this is given as an ordinal variable. It's kind of a different ordinal variable in that it's really the years of education, but because it's not continuous and it's not normally distributed, we cannot use the t-test. So here we're going to use the Mann-Whitney U test. So if we did that, remember these are all non-parametric, right? So we go down here, and because we're looking at two independent groups in the legacy dial, we'll do this, right? And I had already set that up here, but let me go back. So when you click on that, it opens up. This is already highlighted, once you've chosen that independent test, right? So we're looking at educational level, and we want to see if there is any relationship with regards to minority status. So we have 0 and we have 1 for those two groups, and we want to make sure we get the descriptive statistics here for that, right? And yeah, then we do okay. And here we see the results of our Mann-Whitney U test. And what it's saying is that definitely there is a relationship between minority status and level of education. So if we take a closer look at some of the descriptive statistics here, we will see that, there are all 474 participants were included in this group. The total, as far as the average number of years of education for the entire group is 13.49. All right, and we have a minimum of 8 and a maximum of 21. So it's not normally distributed. It's not continuous, right? So we have our minority classification. This does not really mean anything. It's just it's more of a percentage. So we see that there are probably 22% who are classified as minorities because it just goes from 0 to 1. Right, so now we're looking at our rank. So here we see that we have, as far as education is concerned, or levels of education, right? We have these, the average number of those with the minority status, actually, or minority classification, right? They have a mean rank of 247, whereas those with the yes, they have a mean rank of 203. And when that is, when the calculate the U value, it gets 1500 plus, and the z-score for that is minus 3.02, and the p-value is 0.003. So definitely statistically significant. So now remember, this is comparing median. So if we were to take a look at the median for those two groups, right? So let me set that up because I had already done that. So we want to look at minority class, right? So we usually put the ones with the smallest amount of categories into the factors list, right? Because what we want to do is we want to get descriptive statistics, but we want it to separate it by the minority class, right? So we're going to get our descriptive statistics here. What else do we want? I think that is all that. We don't want any stem and leaf plot. Mm, do we want a box plot? I'm not sure. And for now, we will just look at the statistics. Okay. So here we are. And now, because this is, um, you know, uh, ordinal variables, we're more interested in the median than we are the mean. So we see here the median is 15 for those who are not minority in terms of years of education, and the median is 12 for those who are so minority, no. So these are not minorities. They have an average or median years of education 15, and those who are minorities, their median years of education is 12. So now we can go ahead and do the reporting of that, right? So if we were wanting to report this findings, then we would copy the tables over, and we would go to be able to make some conclusions. So this is the table that we would be copying, at least, well, this one most likely. So we would do this, and remember, when you're copying these tables, it's always copy as a special text, right? And then we would bring that into our Word document. And here we want to make sure we change the font, and APA does allow a size 10 font in the tables. But what we want to do is we are going to need to take off all these borders, because this is the only place that we actually want to have those borders, right? So then we can make this bold. So this is how you would essentially format um, your table for APA, right? So that's one table that you would bring over. The other table that you want, of course, is this one. Again, copy special. We have that here, and we would then paste it here, and we can adjust the font down to 10. Right, so now we have our values. We have our z value, and we have our p value. And we would then go ahead and report the findings for our analysis. And we can even add the values, the median values, where we would say uh, the median years of education for non-minorities is 15, and the median years of education, or this the other way around, median years of education for, yes, non-minorities is 15, and for non-minorities it's 12. And the Mann-Whitney Hugh determined that the difference between those two medians is actually statistically significant, based on the fact that the z-score is minus 3.07, and it has a p-value of 0.003. So there you have it. That's your Mann-Whitney U test.